Through thick and thin, I finally have won a Newtype. It took 3 Newtypes in a row, but we finally did it. We got 4th, 3rd, and now we have a win. And this was not an easy Newtype. I played 4 aggro decks, man. Aggro is such a pain in the butt. And you know what? I only got blown out by 1 Amuro. Almost. So guys, make sure you smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more awesome content. Also, why do we have so many of these? This card, it's so rough. So, not a lot has changed. Actually, nothing has changed in this list. I figured I would do another video talking about the list because I keep getting asked questions by the Gundam community like I'm some crazy madman. The reason why I like bird mode. So, if you go first, it's going to depend on how your opponent plays again. If you go first, and then aggro will drop the base cracker or a 2-2. On your next turn, you can either unforeseen incident or pass. Next turn, depending on what your opponent drops, they might drop 2 more guys, put you 3 guys. On your next turn, you drop the bird. Alright, so at this stage, it'll depend on, does my opponent have Gundam Amuro? If your opponent has Gundam Amuro, then you're going to start getting blown out very quickly, and you're going to have to find out a way to recover. You also could use the EX resources generated off of this to put a Hero Yui on this to attack, to control the field, to kind of limit the resources that are generating. That's fine. The skill tree with this card is the following. How aggro did my opponent aggro me? How developed is a possibility of an Amuro? Or am I going to get double Amuro Gundam? If you get double Amuro Gundam, you're dead. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I have just been really lucky. You gotta remember, they're 50 card decks. Like, your opponent... Also, if your opponent wastes an Amuro on this... I mean, okay. But the thing I like about this is, like, this can crash into the nutcracker, the base cracker, and actually survive. So, like, it takes a gun tank to, like, kill it. And if this card's getting that, so that's why, like, people have been asking me, they're like, okay, so why do you want the ramp up? You know, what's the difference between turn 4 and turn 5? The difference between turn 4 and turn 5 is an L strike on a Kira that bounces 1 back to the hand that then, you know, can attack into something -2 it and still live. It provides you with 2 answers while putting a threat on the field while still living. And then, depending on how the future turns develop, will depend on how your weenies come into play. Because that's where the rest of this comes in. So, for Lafrith, and we are playing one of the Flat Militia. The Flat Militia is where, if you don't want to play bird mode, you just play 3 of these, and congratulations. You effectively have your patch to do things, but bird mode has just been so good to me as a card that I have liked it. There's been matchups, especially if you're playing against red-white, bird mode ramps you up 1 turn earlier so that you can actually get your fatties to kind of stay on par with them, which is actually kind of nice. Being able just to exchange of the titans, if you will, is pretty good. We do play triple Rick DS. This card, I swear, man, sometimes Rick. The reason why I choose to play Rick over the Flat Militia is the 1 extra attack point. I need this card to trade into 3/3s, and Flat Militia does not do that. If your opponent drops a 3/3, Flat Militia can block once, and then they'll have 1 health and they can gun tank it. I don't like that. I like that this makes the complete trade and simplifies the board. I play this game in a very card advantage-y aspect, and it really, I think, shows in a lot of testing. We're doing 2 demeanor. I don't have any crazy demeanor stories to tell you for the last 2 events. I think that this card has been just decent. With the amount of aggro I played, I only drew it against 1 of them. There was, I mean, a lot of times it would have helped, but I mean, like, I was either this or this. This came in clutch. I bursted this out of life against against the 1-year-old Rush player, and it allowed me to stabilize. It was actually pretty decent. Do I miss 3 of these? Well, I played, the last round opponent was the blue-white aggro, and because he he didn't curve properly, and he didn't like put enough pressure on the field. So like I got to just kind of establish, but like this going into that matchup doesn't feel very good because it just bounces for free. This is the anti-red deck card. I love when my opponent can't ping this at all. This becomes an immediate threat that red-white feels like they have to try to deal with, or they're just like, oh, okay, because if not, this card just gets to start running around on the field causing problems. And that's actually kind of nice. Yeah, I know, right? Anti-burn cards. Kind of nice. This is also another card you can drop on your 5-turn off of bird mode ramping, which is also kind of good. We are playing 4 copies of Overflowing. I've read a lot of topics of conversations from people saying to hold this card until you know your matchup. I disagree with that. Sure, it helps. Yes. But you need to sculpt your hand. There were some unplayable hands that I drew that were like extremely high curve. But because I drew this card, not only do you get your draw for turn, you can do this to draw 2 more cards. You can sift further into the deck to find yourself resources to play the game that you can pitch something high in so you can start to curve out. It's a hand sculpt fixer. It allows you to take hands that you know, like if I see a Kira hero in my hand, and like I can use this to dig further in to find those key resources. Your deck has a game plan. You know what you need to do in order to win in a lot of these matchups. We're still doing 2 desert base. Thank God I kept this in as a 2 of. I wanted to go to 3-piece million, which was probably... Obviously, if you see Wing Gundam hero in this on curve on that turn, this is absolutely bonkers. This just starts sniping into things, and you get free resource value out of it, which is truly like the reason why you want to play Piece Million, is just because like on curve this card is so good. But you have to play this because if aggro starts getting in your face, you need to deploy it very early on. Like this absorbs 3 attacks, or 1 Gundam, which kind of is needed. We are playing 4 Kira. This doesn't really change. I think Kira's job is just fine. Like, this card does wonders for the format. We are also playing 4 Ailstrike. Being able to ejectocito something off of the field so you can start controlling the opponent is pretty good. We have 2 Justice. I liked this card a lot. Being able to make the intercept token is pretty important in a lot of matchups. We're still playing the 1 Ultron. This actually came up a lot of the last 2 events. Ultron's job is just to munch up blockers, and I still play this because I don't want to walk into the O. O is such an annoying matchup, man, and it really, 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 really is annoying. Still playing 4 Hero Yui. This never changes. I need to talk to you about this card. So, a lot of people ask me, how are you doing so well with your aggro matchup? This card right here. The minute that you deploy this and you start to control what your opponent's doing, this card's job is absolutely amazing. All right. He is the sniper. His job is to clear up those big problems, and that's why I like this card a lot. It allows you just to start taking 1-2s, 2-2s off of the map very quickly, with your opponent having to deal with this. If your opponent doesn't deal with this, they are going to have problems very quickly. That's why I like this card. It deals a damage and controls an enemy unit, which is really, really good. And then, of course, the big daddy of the deck, the big wing Gundam finisher, still being able to control the field and mass cleanup was really good. Though for this new type, the only thing that mattered with this was these were crashing into G-Clux and living with 1 health, which was kind of nice, actually. I like that. Obviously, G-Clux coming down and just kind of annoying you one at a time, where you have to throw one of these back at it. It was a little bit rough, but that's kind of how it works. So, welcome to Green Ramp, the deck. That's really, really, really good, at least in my opinion. So we'll see how this does. I have one more set of new types coming up, and then we have a championship at the end of the month. So we'll see where this goes. But hope you guys enjoyed this, my little wing special. You guys have a good rest of your day, all right? Peace. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.